right, everybody ready?
Okay, scan this code again to begin the real quiz.
Okay.
Yeah, the link is different from the test, so we don't have any mistakes. Yeah.
And it'll be the same for the other two quizzes for today, by the way. But in the meantime, actually, there's one thing I didn't ask you. How do you say hello and welcome in Nigerian?
Wow. Okay, so we have a lot of
Or in
languages.
Pidgin.
In Pidgin.
Let's do it Pidgin.
Pidgin. Welcome. We actually just say welcome.
Welcome.
However, different things mean. I can say how far.
How far?
You don't
and
reach.
I say I did.
You say I did. When I say you don't reach, say I don't reach.
I don't reach.
When
what
I
does
say
that
how you
mean?
did, say I full ground. I full ground.
I full ground.
Hey.
Okay. Right.
Nice.
So next time you see somebody, guys, please greet them in the local Pidgin language, okay? How far?
How you did.
How you did?
No, say how you did.
How you did?
How you did.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Brilliant. All right, I think we have enough entrance. We're ready to go.
Let's start.
Drum roll, everybody. Welcome to AFCON 2.0. I hope you're ready now.
We're winning this time. Yeah.
We're ready. First question's up. What is the name of the airport here in Lagos?
Easy, simple stuff.
We'll see where some people landed, hey? Ooh.
Oh, Jomo.
Okay, I
Who went to
understand
Jomo?
the Kenya situation.
All right, next.
You are correct if you chose option 3, Murtala Mohammed International Airport.
Ooh,
Hey.
Natalie.
DC representing, clearly.
All right. 0.4
Question
seconds.
number 2 is up. What is the business imperative? Dum dum, were you listening and paying attention?
Thumbs up.
And
To
drum
deliver
roll.
fame and fortune.
Let's see who was the quickest in the West. Oh,
Ifeoma
Ifeoma.
Uzo.
Okay, taking the lead.
All right. Lana's behind. She's coming. Next question. What is Nigeria's percentage share of revenue pie in 2023? That is close. Let's see who got
Rushda's
it right.
watching out for this one, guys.
I know.
Okay.
Pay attention. Oh, JR. Okay, we're getting there. Oh, it's totally changed. The league table's changed now. We're getting warmer. Next question. I think this is the last one.
Which of the client new business wins are not a DC client? Remember, there's a prize up for grabs here, everybody.
Yeah, people were listening.
Love to see it. Who's going to be on top
Who's
of the
getting this
leaderboard?
gift? Snoopy.
Snoopy in the building?
Where's Snoopy in the video? You have
Congratulations, by the way.
Congratulations, Snoopy. Where's Snoopy? Yeah.
Snoopy!
Snoopy.
Hey, of course. And the first prize goes to Connie, everybody. A big round of applause.
Come on. Here you go.
Thank you very much, everybody. That concludes our short entertainment. I hope it was a good session after the break. There will be 2 more quizzes, so please keep your phones handy, keep sharp, pay attention. 2 more prizes to go.
2 more prizes to go. Can I play?
Yes.
I've seen the questions. I know the answers.
Shh, don't tell anyone.
Hello, everyone. So great pleasure to be here again. So I was telling Emeka yesterday. So the coach of the Nigerian team is a Portuguese, right? For those that don't know, and he's very famous in Portugal that he never wins a final. So you should have called me before and made a bet. Anyway, so I'm going to be showing you. So last week we had the leadership team in Rome with all the email leadership. Yemek was there, Don was there as well, and I'm going to be showing you a little bit of what we presented there to give you a perspective of what's happening in the group, what's happening in EMEA. It's obviously a very different context from Africa for many reasons. And it comes with a very different context, which I'll give you beforehand so that you understand some of the stuff you're going to see. So one of the big challenges that the Dentsu faced in the recent past is growth, right? So the group at the global level, and you've seen the news, if you have the opportunity to see the results, we announced the yearly results just 2 weeks ago. And we are not growing for many reasons. But the fact is we are not growing, and it has become a big challenge for us, which is totally not what has happened in Africa, right? So you guys are all about growth, and you've kept growing for also for many reasons. And the focus, which you've also had, but mostly in the rest of the world, has been around margin and thinking about margin, because some years ago the business was growing well, but margin was a big issue for us. We were not competitive from a margin perspective, so we've kind of looked too much to margin and cost and too little to growth, and now we totally need to change that. So the theme of the meeting last week was about growth and getting back to growth, which, if anything, aligns with the opportunity in Africa, and then what you guys have been doing and what we see is that needs to be done here in the region. But this is to give you the context of the conversation and some of the stuff you're going to see. So growth is really important to us now as a group. So everything that delivers that growth gets even more important, and has even more eyes put on it, and has more relevance on the group. So all the growth that we've been getting here in Africa and that we will continue to have is a great testament to the work of all of you and what can be done. So this is the context. I'm going to show the video that we show there. Do I need to click? Yes. Let's see if it works. Yeah, so this was from last week. And so you saw the rocket there, so it started with a small joke about what I know about rockets, which is basically not that much, but we do have some idea of about growth, and how growth is really not an option. It's the only option. We absolutely need to grow, and it's something that it's interesting, because when you look at the numbers that Ursa present, when you see the margin growth and you see the top line growth, but you see that the costs always grow consistently, right? So we have an industry that, for many reasons, either because of the inflation or because of there is a big war for talent, even in markets that historically had lower inflation, we always have an underlying inflation in our costs. I'll just give you an example. So we are now in EMEA, we're now on the Pernod Ricard pitch. And in Spain, we have the account. And we are, so for us, it's defending. We're not going to win anything, right? We're just trying to retain it. And one of the agencies that is trying to get the account, basically before the pitch, they start making offers to the team that is working for Pernod before the pitch to have those people actually before they have any idea if they're going to win it. So out of a team that has like 10 people, 5 got offers. So then obviously, you go to those 5 people, and they don't make offers that they're going to pay you 1% more. It's like you come here and you make 30% more. So some of those people, they say, okay, I'm not going to just do this. But some people say, guys, 30%, I need to pay my bills, right? So what can I do? So here we go, and out of those 5 people, probably for 2 of them, we're going to cover a part of the increase. The others we don't. Some will leave. But we haven't pitched. We haven't retained. We haven't done anything, and the costs have already gone up. So the industry has this, which is right. If you think about it, it's just crazy. So the industry has this element, particularly on the more mature markets, but I'm sure that it always happens with you guys, which there is always a war for talent, for good talent. So there is an underlying inflation in our business that even if you're not in markets with those crazy inflation numbers that we've seen here, if you are just on more mature and stable markets, you always have a cost inflation, always, always, always. Which means that if you don't grow the top line, if you don't grow the business, then you can cut costs, but you will never be able to sustain the margin, because there is as much cost as you can cut, because suddenly, obviously, if you need to serve the clients, you need people to serve the clients. So that is, and over the past few years in Europe, in the more mature markets, and it has been a very tough period with all the recession, with all the wars, with everything. So with the Brexit, with Germany stopping the economy, really slowing down dramatically. In Germany, they have no idea what is not to grow, so they are not used to that. So you really see that the economy really slowing down there. So the idea and what we want to really convey is that growth is absolutely something that needs to be on our mindset. But that does not mean that we should not look at costs. We need to continue to run an efficient business. We need to continue to improve the margin. But it is a very different mindset, because when you need to look at growth, you need to look at opportunities, at projects. So much of the stuff you guys are going to be seeing here these couple of days, it's about opportunities to do a different job with the clients, to get more money from the clients, to really innovate and drive stuff. And in EMEA, we've been for 3 years looking, and the markets have been for 3 years mostly looking at cost. And the markets and the regions that have not done that are the ones that have done better. And our region, IPSA, we've grown consistently over the last 3 to 4 years, because we've never looked only at cost, but only at other stuff. So to give you an idea now, it was presented 2 weeks ago. This is how bad it was. So we were by far the group at the global level with a lower growth, right? So this is our public numbers that we publish. So it's not a nice place to be, being the last in line. And interestingly enough, the businesses that grow more are the businesses that have bigger margin. Again, goes to the story we've told. So I think that's, you clearly see, and it's interesting to see how with the growth, Africa with growth has been able to grow margin because one thing brings the other. You have that effect of scale. Now, from a quarter perspective, just to give you an idea, sorry for this is a bit messy. So on the top left are the quarters at global, and below it's in EMEA. You see that last year we started well, 3.4% growth in quarter one, and then we had a really bad in EMEA. We had a really bad 3 quarters, right? -12, -17, -13. It's really bad. So it was, and it happened for one main reason. We saw the CXM business, that is a huge business for us in EMEA, really tanking. I'm sure you saw all Don has mentioned about the tech crunch, about how all the technology companies have slowed down, how there were layoffs in all the big technology companies as well. So there was a big slowdown in technology investment on the big projects, and that massively impacted us in EMEA and also in the US. So in January, we're seeing things started to move up a little bit. So on the right, you see the numbers from January. Though January is always it's a short month, very awkward with vacation. So it's not really a good comparison. But anyway, so we started media across EMEA growing 4.7, which is not bad for media. Creative basically flat, which is actually for the base we were expecting a little bit better, but anyway. But CXM is still decreasing, still -20. The pipeline looks much better, but still overall we still went down 6%. Now, if you see that in quarter 4, the decrease was -13, so it's going somewhere, but it's still far from where we want it to be. And the most important thing is, here I wanted to show how important it is the first quarter, because last year, the first quarter of 23 was actually a good year. So it's after quarter 2 that we then start comparing ourselves with a huge decline. So we can only do better, basically, right? So it was so bad last year that, come on, we can only do better. Now, and a lot of people ask, okay, but what happened? Where are we now? What are we doing to change this? And I think this tells the story of Dentsu and the journey we've been through, and some things worked well and some things didn't work well, like in all companies. So we went through a period we called capability build-up, which was probably till the pandemic, a decade till the pandemic, which was all about acquiring companies, like we did in Africa as well, and we did it all over the world. So it was bringing capabilities, bringing businesses, we acquired a lot of CXM, a lot of creative, and we really needed to build the business as we are originally mostly a media business, as that was the case and still is the case in Africa. So we needed to add that capability. So as we did those acquisitions, we came to be a very complex organization. So we had more than 160 brands across the world. So I remember people going to a client, and there were like 6 people going to a client, all with different business cards, right? The client said, okay, guys, but who do you work for? We can't understand this, right? So you have so many cards. So this is crazy. And we saw it even in small markets like here, we could see that. So there was a need to do a huge transformation of simplification and make sure that our go-to-market was much more simple and that our organization was much more leaner. So that was a big work. And that's when we went to phase 2, and we've created the famous, so we've put everything together in 6 global brands, which with some exceptions, it's pretty much what we have today. So that was a job well done in terms of how we reorganized. And then we created the service lines as the specialisms under which all the brands were aggregated to try to get that all the capabilities that belong to the same family kind of align and working together. Now, the problem was that, and I think that's today recognized as what really was a challenge for us. For the people that have been with us for longer, if you remember, we we work under the one P&L concept, which is like pretty much how we do in Africa. So each country has its own P&L and everyone works for the same team. And though one is media, the other one is creative, but at the end of the day, it's the common success that defines the success of us all. And the model that was created was not like that. So the practices basically were leading the business, and the practices were very siloed and very disconnected from each other. So media was not really talking to creative, and creative was not really talking to CXM, and CXM was really not talking to anyone. So the problem was that during this period, clients suddenly started to ask for much more integration. And clients started to ask, okay, even if they don't buy the integration from us, even if when you go to a client, the front door is still a media pitch or a creative pitch or a technology pitch. What we see is that the clients absolutely demand us to understand the full ecosystem. They demand us to understand how the consumer journey works, how we're going to help them transform their business. So for the guys that are on media pitches, I'm sure that you've seen that we can't possibly not talk about data today. We cannot talk about data infrastructure. We cannot talk about how this connects with the CRM platforms. We absolutely need to understand how everything, all the touch points with the consumer work together, not only from the media perspective, but also from a CRM perspective. So all those dimensions, the user experience is absolutely critical. We need to understand how user experience actually works on the assets that the client have. So all these dimensions now, when we go to a client, we need to understand that. And we need to have a view of how everything works, even if then the client is not buying it from us, but we can't just put something out of the context of everything else. From one side, it's a big challenge because we need to have some capabilities working together at the moment where probably the client is not going to pay for it. But then in the medium term, it's going to pay out because as we have that view, that integrated view, the client will slowly but surely start buying more integrated services from us because they will not want to have complexity. And we are seeing that already happening. So the clients are starting slowly but surely to buy the integrated story and to buy services that are just not about media, creative, or technology, but they are, the solution that basically serves that. So that's where we enter now. So we enter on the phase of One Dentsu, of the new One Dentsu operating model, which is basically about being client-centric. You might have seen this, they call it the House of Dentsu because it slightly looks like a house. And the idea is that our organization becomes super client-centric. So everything we're doing, everything you see happening across the organization in the next couple of years is about focusing on clients, being client-centric, have everything together to serve the client as best as we can, and then having the practices, they're no longer called service lines because they're not businesses by themselves, they are practices working together through the brands to service the clients. And more having this logic of client, everything is centered at the client, and then I will expand that client into the services that I have. And there are some really interesting data points already on looking at clients from an integrated perspective. So, not know if you can see it well. So last year we created what we call the accelerator clients, which were clients at an MA level we would treat as if they were integrated, meaning getting people from the different service lines, giving them support. And the clients that were treated as integrated, though this was not something that the clients asked us for, right? It was, okay, we see potential, let's go to these clients proactively with new stuff and with integrated speech. They grew 8 percentage points more than all the rest of the portfolio. And in EMEA, when you look at the numbers, this is big, meaning if the client base decreased like 2% because of all the economic effects, the accelerator grew 6%. Where in some markets where they grew 4 to 5%, they grew 12%. So there was an 8 percentage point gap in the clients that were treated as integrated, where we actively help them and gave them services that were beyond just the single thing that they had contracted. Now, this is kind of intuitive in the sense that, okay, if you give more attention and more support and more service to the client, he will grow. But the case was not that clear on will he grow enough to justify the resources that we're putting behind it. And they are, and you saw we ended up the year with -6, right? So 8 percentage points would be ended up the year with +2. It is a huge difference. So at a global level, 2 percentage points, 2 or 3 percentage points is the difference between being the last of the groups or the first. So the gap is very, very small. So it is really important. And we also saw some really interesting thing, which is we win 30% more when we take this approach to the clients, and we retain 40% more when we manage the clients on an integrated way. So clients clearly want us to have this vision, clearly want us to help them with this transformation, and want us to be that strategic partner for them. So that's pretty much what the big plans for Europe right now is really implement this client-centric organization. We saw that the markets were as the practices were siloed, the cost effect also made the markets very siloed. So one of the things was One EMEA. It was one of the, I think they have a lot to learn from what you guys have done in Africa, in the sense of the countries working together, the clients working together, and the clients really feeling that it's an African network that comes together to deliver the service. In EMEA, you have very little clients that can say, yes, we feel that you are One EMEA, because the markets really have not worked together in the past few years. And so that is a big challenge of breaking those barriers and getting people to work together. So this ODOM has been basically implemented, and it's now being implemented on the big markets. So the first priority was the top 10 markets. It does not have many changes. It's an evolution, so you don't really, but it was much more around, particularly in the big markets where organizations were very complex and the practices were very structured. It was about taking those roles and making it much more transversal. So it will not. So over the year, you'll probably get some of the ODOM across the region, but it's not. I think it's really going back to some basics of what we were doing 3 or 4 years ago, which you guys never stopped doing. So I don't think it's going to be massively irrelevant for you. Now, one of the things we discussed was, what does it mean to be successful, right? So what are like what we see as the successful markets, what they do, and what we need to do. So one of the first things we need to do is have a strong market share in media. This is something that we somehow lost in the meantime. To give you an idea, in the big markets in the UK and Germany, we have something like 6 or 7% market share in media, which is very, very small. So they are big businesses. So UK and Germany, they are roughly 50% of EMEA, is just those two markets. But then in media, they have a very small market share. And it's a bit of a chicken and egg, because they say, okay, we don't win clients because global is not doing well, and then global says we don't win clients because the big markets don't do well. So you are kind of there lost in the wheel. So a lot is happening to make sure that we have a very strong media proposition in the big markets, and that the global team is very coordinated with that. Something that is very important for EMEA, the practice leads, and for you that are on the media, I'm sure you know Will Swain. Will has been in the company for, well, even longer than I have, for 20-something years. And he's the global practice lead of media, and he's also going to be the EMEA practice lead for media. So he double hats global and EMEA for media, so he's really supporting this effort. So we see that having a strong media market share is absolutely fundamental for what we do, because that's when you become relevant for clients, you become relevant for media owners. That's where you leverage on all the trading opportunities. You need to have scale, you need to have volume to be able to do relevant things. The other objective is really we need to expand, and talk a little bit about that CXM democratization. We need to expand CXM across the regions on a very different model, and I'll come to that quickly. We need to grow creative double-digit. We have a relatively small base. We're seeing lots of successes, lots of great talent, and that really drives though it's still a fairly small percentage of everything we do. Is around EMEA, it's roughly 15% of all the business is creative, which is very small, but the opportunity is huge for us. And then we need to have this logic of selling more than one thing to the clients, and really have a strong success in pitches. Win rate is one of the most important elements that we have in our business, because win rates means two things. One, we are winning, which is good, but as important as winning is that we are going to the pitches where we have the right to win. The common element of the markets that don't perform well is goose chasing, is going after client after client after client and losing and losing and losing. And that creates, one, a massive frustration for everyone, and a massive amount of cost that is totally wasted. Because when you go to a pitch that you don't have the right to win, you're just spending money and you're not focusing on what you should do. So having that balance of picking the right wars and going to the right clients at the right moment is as important as winning clients itself. So this is something that is super important. Now, so we just to give you a very quick perspective, and we'll be talking about some of this with a slightly different context. So we've created in EMEA what we call accelerator projects, which are basically projects where we believe can generate some very quick wins, some areas where we see some real money being made and potentially that to be made, and also to be used as that glue that puts the region together and as the markets working together. So very quickly, so the first one is the democratization. What does this mean? We've grown CXM with the logic of buy and expand, right? So we go to a market, we see the opportunity to acquire a CXM company. So we have business last year we just bought a big one in Spain, we bought a big one in the UK, we have a big business in Germany, in Northern Europe, we have a very small thing in Italy, but basically you buy a company and you have CXM on the market that you buy that company. Now, the model of CXM is a very different model from, let's say, the traditional media, which is you don't really need to have delivery in your market to be able to actually sell that service. You need to have people that sell on your market. You need to have people that are consultants with your client and have that transformation. But then you need to have resources available to you anywhere in the world that just deliver, right? I always give an example of a friend of mine that used to work for, he still works for Accenture, but he used to work for ABI, do the transformation for ABI, which is a good client of us. So he was working out of Brussels, where they have the headquarters for EMEA, and he had like 250 people working for ABI on several CRM platforms, and in Brussels he had like 5 people. Right? He had no one in Brussels, and if you asked him where he had the people, he actually had no idea where those 250 people were. He just had, he knew what types of profiles he needed. He went to someone in the organization and said, I need 10 people that understand Salesforce, 10 people that understand Adobe, 10 people that understand this, 20 that understand that, give them to me. And there was someone that would then give those resources, and they will spread all over the world. They had the rate cards, they sold those rate cards to the clients, but the model of having the talent localized in a market and servicing out of that market is a model that is not a technology model. So what we're doing now, and this is a big work that Margaret Wagner and all the CXM team are doing, is exactly making sure that all the delivery talent that we have across the region is unified under one single delivery platform. That's going to take a little bit of time, so it's going to happen through 24. But it's unified under one big delivery platform, so that if you sell something in a market, you know that you know how much those resources will cost, so that those resources will be costed with no margin, so with no, because that's also one of the problems we have today. So if you are in one market and you need resources from another market, you ask that market for a cost, and that market will give you a cost plus a margin. So the logic now, it's going to be a pure delivery model, which is how do we actually have access to that talent at cost. Now, we'll always obviously have a challenge and also an opportunity with Africa, because even if we have lots of people in Spain and Portugal, because Spain and Portugal are much cheaper than Germany and Northern Europe, right? So, but still they will be expensive for Africa. So we will need, on the first phase, we will need to make sure that we can source the resources for you guys where they are cheaper, and so that it makes slightly viable. But our competitors have exactly the same problem. They also don't have massive resources in Africa to be able to source. And then consistently and over time, ideally, we would create a delivery capability in Africa as well, and that's something we will be discussing. So the CXM logic is, how do we sell, how do we have a technology offering in all the markets, irrespectively of having their delivery, which before was about you can only do it if you actually have someone there delivering. That's a massive change. Then there is a big part, 2 points on programmatic and digital vendors. So something that Carney is working a lot, and I'm sure you're going to hear on the next couple of days, which is how do we extract more value from our digital investments. And right now, at the global level, we have Google and Facebook or Meta that take like almost 80% of the digital investments, as you guys probably know, where we make very little money for many reasons. And the huge opportunity is how do we, one, make money with those guys, and how do we make money with the alternatives that we have, and how do we have a consistent approach and process and technology. It's a very technology-based ecosystem to make money, extract money from those guys. Just to give you an idea, in EMEA alone, today we invest in Meta something like 500 million euros with Meta. 500 million. It's insane. We are extracting with them on average 0.8%. 0.8%. So if we increase 2 percentage points, is 10 million. It's as much money as Africa makes all year. So the scale is just like ridiculous. So we are on this quest to try to find consistently new ways to monetize those partners that we absolutely need to. That with all the GDPR and the cookieless world in EMEA, they've actually been hugely benefited, because now they have these walled gardens, well, I would call it the walled gardens ecosystems, where you can use data within their own properties, and they are usually benefited because they have a massive scale and they can do that. And then we have two more projects. One is influencer marketing. We see, and South Africa is doing amazing work here, and I'm sure that other markets as well. We see influencer marketing as by far the biggest, the highest growth discipline in marketing right now, right? So influencer marketing is absolutely massive. In some industries, you cannot have a marketing plan without having a proper influencer marketing. You have people that are driving sales, unbelievable. It's just crazy stuff. You put something on TikTok or on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, and it multiplies by 100 the sales of those stuff. So it's really, really crazy. And that is growing so fast, and there is a huge opportunity to start looking at that as a much more consistent, systematic, with solid technology, with solid processes, and really to leverage on that. So influencer marketing, and we are doing influencer marketing a little bit everywhere, and the idea is to have something that is more coordinated, more consistent, so that we all can treat influencer marketing with scale. The markets that are growing more is where we've been able to treat it as a new channel. right? It's almost as we did digital some years ago. Suddenly, on the media plans, we started having a line of digital. Now we're starting to have a line on influencer marketing. So, and we treat it with the tools that we now have almost as the media in terms of, in terms of the reach, the coverage, the targets, and then it has all the amplification on the leads and the sales and everything. So it's something that is really growing dramatically, and we're going to put the investment behind it. And the final one is what we call the solutions, which is having that logic of the integrated clients and working with the clients on an integrated way. So these are all projects that we're trying to. Then all the markets have their own stuff, so that this doesn't mean that you cannot do your own stuff. These are like the ideas of where we see there is a lot of potential and money. So expanding CXM, I think we all agree on that. It's not easy, it's not short term, but that's clearly the way to go. All the digital vendors and how we make more money out of that ecosystem, huge part of what we need to do. Influencer as massively fast growing, and treating clients on an integrated way. So these are the unifying projects. What we're doing is we are bringing all the creating teams in all EMEA to lead on these projects, and this is what's going to be being implemented. So this is to give you an idea on where the resources and the thought leadership is going to come from. And I think this is it. Yeah. Thank you so much.
So there will be a roving mic. If anybody has any questions for Andre, this is now your opportunity, your golden moment.
Thank you, Andre. My first question is on the CXM, right? First of all, let me say thank you very much for democratizing access to resources and tools on this. Don and I had been at conferences when we ask questions and we'll be told, no, it's for Europe, it's for US, etc. But I think you mean real business this time. If we want to accelerate growth, we need to accelerate what we have. And I want to say thank you very much for that. But my first question is, as you described it, what can we access from mature markets on CXM, and what must we put in place? All right? On the side of what we must put in place, what kind of training do we provide for those people? That's my question.
Yeah. So this is something that started now. So I would say that as we speak, they are doing the process of mapping all the talents and creating what they call the cost cards of all the resources, meaning so that you guys know exactly how much each resource costs, so that if you tomorrow sell something. So I would say that first semester is going to be much more an internal process than anything. And then from the second semester, we will be able to go to all the markets and to help the market sell. We'll probably, so I would say sometime between August and the end of the year, we will have a more systematic process prepared to come to you guys. So we'll probably discuss at the regional level. We probably need to have someone to lead the CXM practice consistently, that has access to all of that has a broader view of how we're going to do it, and also prepare the training, identify the opportunity. A little bit like we did with Creative, right? We slowly but surely started putting resources and supporting. So that's pretty much going to be. But I would say that on the first semester, we are still doing the homework of getting it together. The big challenge, I think, is going to be we will need to have delivery resources in the region. Otherwise, the cost is not going to be viable. Joel there.
Thanks, Andre. My question is also going to be kind of on the same breadth. Given the headway that different markets have been able to make on the CXM side, one of the things that we've realized is, to your point, the big tech companies, the Salesforces of this world, have had slowdown, and obviously that has impacted, revenue contribution in EMEA top markets. But what we're seeing on the continent is that a lot of the companies that are based here, homegrown, obviously driving big revenue margins, are not necessarily looking at what we may refer as to traditional solutions, such as Salesforce, SAP, Oracle, etc., but are looking also at homegrown products. And I think, to Don's point, fintech has led that way, but we're seeing like everything else following up. To your point, what do you reckon would be a direction that not just gets us at that level, but allows us to be able to actually leapfrog? Because from where I sit, I see benefits of both, but with a blended approach, but I don't know what your take is on that.
We then can talk more extensively about this, right? But we basically take two approaches. We take out, or let's say till now, we've been very vendor-led in our approach, exactly because the vendors have faced massive growth, and it is all about being with them. So Salesforce has a huge sales structure. They sell to clients, and then they recommend an integration partner for the clients. So we've always been like, okay, I'm with them. Point at me. That has been pretty much the approach. And you almost like don't need to sell anything, right? You're just there and you get the leads, as long as you are a credible partner that will deliver on time, on cost, on quality for those clients. Now, the market has changed a lot on that dimension. So clients are more now, instead of doing huge technology investments, they are more about making those investments deliver. And I think that has been a big part of the big slowdown. Clients were not seeing the return on investment of those millions that they've poured into the platforms. So we now building an organization that is much less also our talent. The way we are organizing CXM in Europe is the alliances would usually add a bigger importance. Now we're getting more growth people that are less oriented or leaned into the practices. Exactly to your point, so they are able to help you and help the clients find the right architecture that works for their problem, rather than I'm only selling Salesforce, or I'm only selling this, or I'm only selling that. So we are now evolving our organization and our people to actually be able to do that, because the market is moving. Having said that, they continue to be massive partners, right? So Salesforce continues to grow. They continue to see a big pipeline. It's not as it was before, but they continue to grow. But the opportunity is really to be able to sell across all the technologies and not specifically as one. So we see some markets going to more localized and less known solutions. Yes, and the idea is that when we have that talent can deliver in any type of platform. But we'll need to get talent on the ground. Well, with medium term, it is a bit. I always tell this half joking, but I think that the digitalization of the world, which has not stopped last year, we still have. Well, we see even in companies in the developed countries, we still have a huge opportunity to digitalize. The consumer experience continues to be highly disconnected from the different touch points. So stuff that we discuss every day continue to happen, but there is a digital divide, the digital transformation, in my opinion, and this is a discussion that is happening in lots of forums, which is the absolutely need to transform digitally the businesses. Is increasing the digital divide and the economic divide between the markets. Because if today, for instance, to give you an idea, in Northern Europe, you can sell a consultant for like 1,200 euros a day. Okay, now, so that's 120 euros an hour. Now, to sell that, you need to source it from Spain, where that consultant costs 600, right? Now, but if you are in Spain, you cannot source it from Spain. You need to source it from Argentina because that's 300. And then if you are in Argentina, you ask the penguin to do it, right? So this digital divide that we have, and the same thing happens with Africa, right? So you see, we need to have, because the clients already expect those, it's already embedded in the model and the way the clients do, we do stuff. The clients expect you to outsource what you do to a cheaper country. But you know, there is a moment there are no more cheap, there isn't any cheaper country. So when you look at India, when you look at which has thousands of people delivering that, you see the digital the digitalization of that market, and it's really at the beginning, right? And think, guys, you have so many digital talent here in the market, you're not digitalizing yourselves. No, because they are actually servicing the more developed markets. So the more developed markets are going to digitalize much faster because they have access to the cheaper resources, and the poor countries will digitalize much slower because they don't have any resources. So this even increasing the economic divide, which is really sad and a real problem. So we need to close this gap. We absolutely need to develop local talent that delivers to local clients and almost have that as a mission of what we do to avoid, and I think that's a big part of this logic of Dentsu, of doing good and doing the right thing. We absolutely need to do that, because if we don't, you know, in a decade, the economic divide is going to be even bigger than it is today, and we see that clearly. I was the other day with I think it was an airline from LATAM, that I don't know if it was from Colombia or from Brazil, something like that, and they were actually willing to pay resources at cost of Europe, because they said, you know, we need to. If we don't pay the resource at this cost, we're not going to be able to transform, and we're not going to be competitive with the airlines of the other countries. So we're starting to see a lot of challenges on this logic of the sourcing. But we do need to think how we manage that. But it is a big challenge. So and the companies in Africa, they will need to digitalize. They will need to transform the digital footprint. It's not an option, and we need to allow them to be able to do that.
Andre, I just have one question. To avoid this digital divide, will there be any form of subsidy from the more mature markets for our region in terms of digital resources? Is there any way we can subsidize the growth, expedite the growth, some form of investment in Africa?
The way we've budgeted this year was to those 5 projects will have a special central budget to support them. Very limited right now, because this was like, you know, the budget dropped on us in October, like, how do we manage this? And we managed to get, but we are getting some money there to support the markets. So the logic is we will subsidize centrally the growth projects that today the markets don't have the ability to fund by themselves. So that includes entirely helping Africa with the CXM democratization. We need to make a business case, and being very pragmatic. This will happen as much more as we are collectively successful as a company, obviously, right? So the moment, so to give you an idea, so Julio, you know, Julio he was previously CEO, is my boss, is now, well, he's working very closely with Igarashi-san, he's the number 2 of the company. He said it was like the worst year of his professional career. From business results perspective. I've been for 20 years in Dentsu, and it's definitely been the worst. He is a little bit older than me, so he has a bigger interval of sample, but it was awful. You know, those results from a global perspective. Dentsu did 3 profit warnings last year. Every quarter, we were going to the market saying we're not going to deliver on our forecast. It's so bad, and so. We are now really in high emergency status. So we're trying to do what we can with some limited resources, and as the more we become successful, the more resources we will have, but the essence of the project is exactly to do that, to support with resources the markets that need some energy at the beginning, and then they will be able to build it. We have Natalie there, just one more.
Hi. Following on from that, what are the headwinds and the growth opportunities that you're seeing in 2024 in EMEA this year? What do you foresee will be the forces at play to affect us, the macro forces in EMEA?
Yeah. So I think that the wars are already a little bit baked in, to be honest. Everyone is already counting that, you know, lots of that war is there. It's very frustrating in many fronts. From obviously from everything that's happening in Ukraine and how you look at that, and now, you know, it's crazy. They just you know, talking yesterday with someone, it's like if you see the amount of money that is, I don't even. What am I going to say? You know, I was saying, obviously lives is a more important thing, but there is an element. They are just, it looks like the war in the First World War, right? They are just basically barricaded, throwing bombs at each other and just burning money that should better be given to people that are actually starving in places in the world. It just doesn't make any sense. It's so stupid. And from that part, that honestly, in my opinion, I think that war probably during 24 is going to end, in my opinion, and it's only going to end one way, which is basically Ukraine will have to go a big part of their territory. There is no other option. The Western democracies are not prepared to continue to fund that war, and the pure Ukrainians are just going to be victims of what is the world and how the economies move. So it's not about who is right or who is wrong. It's about who has the money or does not have the money. The famous golden rule, right? Who has the gold makes the rule. Guys, it is what it is. I'm not a politician and I don't have any influence on this, so I can openly speak about this. But I think that's what's going to happen. We see a lot. We see in the U.S., right? Even the Americans, right? This is a war against Russia, and the Americans say, no more money to them. I don't give a shit about Ukraine. This is what's happening. And hopefully the other part, which is a very different war with very different challenges in Palestine and Israel, when you listen to the two sides, you really understand that they come from very different perspectives, and hopefully that will also get to end soon. But but then over that you get a dynamic in Europe that is, so you have the Brexit with everything that's happening in the UK, that is really creating huge problems on the English economy, and lots of, you know, the right-wing movements winning lots of space in Europe because of the immigration. So it's not good moments for us collectively at the global level, I would say, and particularly in Europe. But we pretty much have that baked in. I would say that from our own business, we have two really must-wins. We need to start winning in media, absolutely. At the global level, we can't be, you know, losing ABI and Beiersdorf and this and that. We need to stop that thing. We see some very positive. Will is really leaning on it. He knows what has to be done. He's getting the right people. You saw lots of people, senior people from the company leaving. So I think we are there. It's going to take time because then the client acquisition period is not short in media. But I think we're doing the right steps. It's only going to impact us in 25 or even in 26. But I think we have to win there. So that's number one. And we have to recover CXM. CXM at least be at the same level as it was last year. We can't win 20%. You know, in January we were 20% down, just crazy. It's so big, the business. We are seeing a slight recovery in the US already. So the US is already slightly recovering. But those two are going to be making the challenge. But at an EMEA level, to give you an idea, our target this year at an EMEA level is very small. So if we grow in EMEA like 3 to 4%, I think everyone is going to be super happy. So you see, when compared to you live on a different planet right now. And every small percentage counts, right? So I always say, you need to stabilize the big markets, and then what really makes a difference is if you grow on for me, the smaller markets are and I'll shut up in a moment, I'm being asked to leave the stage. For me, the business needs to deliver at level on the bigger markets. It's very difficult to have a massive competitive advantage on the bigger markets because they are very big, very scale, lots of resources. Everyone has a lot of talent and resources. So there you need to break even, to meet your competitors. And then where you have the few percentage points that make you much better at the global level is when you deliver in what we call in the long tail of businesses, and Africa is clearly one of them. So your performance is not, though, from a percentage perspective, you are small compared to the big markets. You are the ones that will make us be above the others when we put everything together versus being at the same level. So that's the idea. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome to Nigeria. Welcome to West Africa. This is trying to tell a story of 10 years in 10 minutes. I hope I'll do justice to that.
A city that thrives with life and energy. In this economic city lies Media Fuse Dentsu's Nigeria's head office at number 1 Remi Fani Kayode Avenue, Ikeja, GRA.
This company today occupies 6 physical addresses and about 8 office blocks. We went through that process, made our own mistakes, learned from the mistakes, applied what we learned, and then when we took on the market, we became the reference point in the market for so many things. I can safely tell you that 70% of the CEOs of our companies were people who joined us in the first 1 year of starting operations. We have unleashed a small band of army that can take on the world.
Welcome to Lagos, Nigeria.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been a rapid transformation since 10 years, starting with a solo media agency called Media Fuse in January 2014. And quickly, I don't know, I think we were such a beautiful bride that we attracted the global number 4 then. Yeah, that's why I'm saying we. In September 2014, Dentsu acquired equity in Nigeria, significant equity in the business. That's just 9 months in a startup company. And that also impacted our access to the global brands to take on the market in a more meaningful way. So to speed this, by 2022,
we had about 15 companies in the market. In one of the conferences that I attended, I think that would be in the US, there was a quiz to know which country had the greatest number of Dentsu brands over a period of 2 years. And surprisingly, it was Nigeria. Yes. Okay, so then the streamlining things down to 2023, we're down to 8 core brands today in the market. So key performance highlights over that period, we've seen our company, this is in local currency term, grow from year one. We entered the market with a bang, with a 2 billion naira billing and 273 million naira revenue. And year one, we posted profit. To cut the story short, by 2021, we had grown our business, which is 7 years down the line, to a $50 million business. 7 years down the line. But what is remarkable about this is that there was no acquisition of any type. So that's, in dollar terms, what it was. But if you look at the chart, you would see that in 2020, there was a dip, no thanks to COVID. But 2021, we regained momentum. But due to the FX issues that we have had, every effort we've pumped into growing value in local currency was diminished by the Forex issues. So I'm pained because small markets like Kenya is beginning to challenge us now, and I don't like it. No, South Africa. Don't worry. I was happy we stopped them from qualifying to final. All right. So over the years, we've had moderate. Now, Rushda, that's how we work. We've been very conservative in terms of our human capital growth. Ending at 2023 December, we exited at 179 people. Compared to our size in terms of revenue, I think if we know that we run a business, a leaky basket kind of business, so we have to be a lot more cautious in terms of how we attract people, rather than, lose a Coca-Cola and fire 300 people at the same time. So we a little more careful in that respect. Quick, some key trends impacted business in 2023 as we moved along. Quite a lot. Continuous rise of mobile money solutions will be there. Cashless policy is down on the streets in Nigeria. Growing interest in cryptocurrency. Work from home has become a way of life, to the point that you hire some young people, they agree salaries with you. A day after the salary, they ask you, by the way, how many days am I going to be coming to? I said, but when I was giving you salary, did you assume you work from your house? So I'm still struggling with that, being old school myself. So, right, affordable monthly unlimited broadband, etc. Quite a lot happening in the marketplace that is shaping things today. Reach is no longer enough. 10 years ago, it was brand driven. Today, audience decide what they want. More the audience decide what the brands want. No longer the brands talking to people. It's also here. So what has changed? The category grew, more content is accessible. Consumers' needs grew, more engagement in place. And then access grew. People have more access, and then they make choices. So you can no longer pin somebody because you have just won this program or the other. So we have to be on our toes to continue to grow. Out-of-home category is also not left out. Okay, it's still a fragmented space. Markets Nigeria maturing. Rise of multiple location touch points is the order of the day. Rise in tech-enabled inventories. Increase in location-based advertising. Category media inflation. I was hoping that the reconstruction of one of the longest bridges in Africa would have been completed by now, so we could go through connecting to the islands, one of our outings, so you could see the entire landscape of Lagos and what has changed. Dawn will be able to tell the story because she's more frequently in the market. So Brands are playing distinctive roles in the market now. There are a lot more big, bold. We've won awards with some of these in the market. There's explosion in location data. 3D out-of-home execution. We launched the first in the market with MasterCard, and that is still a head turner around the market. Integration with digital, strategic partnership to hedge inflation, and then creativity through innovation and tech. Quite a lot is going on in the market, apart from what it used to be. Then, for our media line of business, proprietary data and tools still there, but competition is taking on us. So we can no longer keep selling on Meko. That's why I'm excited about democratizing other products from the group and having access to them. But clearly, when we came, we were actually setting the standards for the markets. But competition is also not sleeping. So because we've also moved from a media agency, that's the confusion about us, because we started as a media agency and now we're Media Fuse Dentsu. So they keep thinking of us as a media agency, and then we spring surprises with Dentsu Creative, with Dentsu Performance, etc., all over the marketplace. So we definitely are not on the same side as the media agencies, except for businesses like Karat, Dentsu X, etc. And so bespoke agency models, also in the house, we have the Red Star. But the good thing about Red Star in the market, because of the way the market is structured and the way clients respond to the market, Red Star operated in this market for over 5 years now as a full service company, and they have attracted many other clients. So it's a very effective China wall for us. We didn't fold Red Star into Karat at the onset for obvious competition. Diageo was in the house then. But since the Diageo media pitch is not happening, I think we're going to put Red Star straight into that business. There's no competition in place anymore. But it's going to be a bigger Karat with Red Star in the house over the next couple of years or months. Our centralized buying system is also not proprietary anymore to us. Everybody has copied us in the market. They're doing their own amplifier one way or the other. So on the competitive creative space, category opportunities and challenges, I imagine there are quite a good number of opportunities. Strong there is the global advantage. Access to this kind of summit that we have today, and information and sharing and learning, and then building on those things will still be there. And then there are challenges, the economic instability. The Naira is taking a bash left, right, center by politicians. Top companies closing shop. New agencies springing up every day. Organizations cutting marketing budgets due to recession. Yes, we are in a recession. That's clear. We don't want to pretend about that. So major shifts have been that of hedging against Forex. I think much as, I like the way Rushda mentioned it, it's exciting to game Forex. And if I have the Forex inventory I have today, by the time we look at the system rate, by the end of the month, I'm going to be having about 600 million Naira income. So how much will it change? But we're hoping that the efforts of government to tame the monster of liberalizing, floating the currency before making decisions, we kick in, and then we return to some level of sanity. So I'm also hedging against risk all the way. And so it's impacting staff morale, but we have to do the best we can and to stay in business and keep our people. Some key relationships heading into 2023, which is very significant. We got into 2023 with these businesses, all right, across. But here's the story. In 2023 alone, we registered a lot of wins by these different entities. But what is unique about this slide is you could see the cross-selling efforts, all right? From one point, we sell all the practices we have in the house. We sell media, we sell creative, we sell the specialist services, especially coming out of the Agile system, the Agile content. We're selling original content across to Heineken, to Promasidor, etc. No thanks to Marian and her team. And so, thank you. So literally every aspect of our business had a bite of their own successes, either by initiating the win themselves or planting themselves into the business and try to cross-sell something. And so we moved on from an organic growth out of scope. Like I said earlier, we've had the Agile system lead the onslaught in this space. We've sold, gotten our fingers a lot into ABI, with ABI also allocating more brands, more products to Dentsu Creative, and also buying into our original content production more through Agile. And also we've had Nivea, the likes of Nivea, also subscribing to influencer management services from us, as well as electronic and digital productions in the house through V8. So key performance highlights for 2023 are these. We have 7% growth over RF3 at $1.67 million US. We had 21% growth over 2022 in terms of revenue at $1.2 million US. And we had 46% growth over RF3 operating profit forecasts in 2023. So overall, that's the pie. But what is interesting, the interesting story to tell here is that, Don, you could remember, I'm sure Andre could remember, that for the first 5 years we started, the green was 90%. All right? It was essentially media deals and things like that. And some of those deals cost us a significant client. But we learned from our lessons and tightened up to the extent that we received, for the first time in the market, after audit by Coca-Cola, we received a letter as the best company in terms of they had audited in the marketplace. I think Hilda, Coca-Cola is here. Yeah. So today we could see that we split the revenue. Now our client's revenue, for which we receive fees, account for 50%. We want to see this move to 75% as much as possible, because that is what guarantees us business continuity to future-proof our business. And so we have the media income accounting 45%. Of course, we do know what it is with media income. When it is a pitch, Marian will throw in everything. And after 1 year, we start making arrangements on how to make more money. So that's what it is. But significant, again, it is important to also note that organic revenue out of scope grew by 3%, but why organic, non-organic revenue contributed 2% is that most of the new pitches came in the last quarter. It is now that they are translating to real hard revenue in the marketplace. So awards and recognitions in 2023, to summarize, we've got the Pitchers Awards, gold, silvers, bronze, etc. recognition awards from different papers, and then I have the Nigerian League tables. 2021 we were top 5, 2022 top 5, and 2023 top 10, because Dentsu Creative didn't enter much work for 2023 to say. Summary of the awards are these: 38 professional awards and medals, and 27 recognition awards across the practices. That's how we ended the year. And those are the pictures of the beautiful faces of the ladies. And Igwe, I don't know, she's one of the ladies. Are you? CSR initiatives not left out. Today in the industry, we were in the news last week and up to 2 weeks. What we did was and congratulations to HR and Roberta, IT. Rather than get rid of all our old systems, we looked for schools who needed those desktops, refurbished the desktops and donated it to schools for public examination. And one of the schools that benefited from that was the military school next to our offices. And they were very grateful, and we received letters and commendations for that. So still on CSR, Dentsu X took an initiative to contribute to the food bank for underprivileged people, and that's the photograph of Kemi and our team at that donation. And Igwe Karat keeps doing his free business masterclass to startup enterprises. and entrepreneurs hosted by Karat. And we have that in the market. And that's also generating a lot of goodwill for the business. So that is not letter. What next for Densu Creative in Nigeria? Which is a tall order. We had a workshop. I had a small mini workshop in the office with Shola and Funke to discuss what next for us. So we hope to develop and start to implement a strategic roadmap for DC Nigeria content and entertainment. And unless DC takes their beat of that, agile content from the media will continue to eat the cake, chip it away as much as possible. But it's a different kind of approach that we have there. We need to unpack our creative leadership and management structure to drive more competition because I think Shola is really being swarmed. And the reason we need to do this is because the opportunities, we've seen that the place we're growing most in the market is from the creative side of business. And so Shola will need quite a lot of wingers and a lot of support. I'm happy that Brian is in the market. And my friend, Michael, where are you? Yeah. Michael, we have a plot for the market that we have to get. We win this year or we don't. So we've been talking. We have to expand the DC present workspace, occupying an office building. But creative is one people that each time I go there, I keep asking Funke, you sure all these people are working? Tell me what they're doing. There are too many people here. But I think they're all doing their best, but they need a lot more office space to drive effective China wall and firewall systems. Because now, the only firewall system they have is to have, for instance, they work for Diageo upstairs, right? Creative, we do Diageo Creative upstairs. And the interesting thing is that, Karat lost Diageo worldwide, right? On the media side. But DC Nigeria picked a good number of the Diageo brands and earned more fees on the few creative brands than what Karat earned 5 years put together. So that's why we need to continue to invest in our creative line of business. It gives us also C-suite level access to the clients. So we'll be deliberate about building and growing DC Nigeria's creative leadership profile through talent attraction and every other thing. We need to expose our people. Shola is shortlisted for Cannes this year, and Funke, and we want to put a reward in place for the creative team, that the team that wins us first Grand Prix at the Lorries and gets us shortlisted at the Cannes will be at the Cannes for next 2 years going. So, and what is the future of our media line of business? Tech will play a key role. We have no doubt. We'll continue to embrace total solutioning. I'm happy. That's why I don't know if I'm the most excited person that attended the summit in Rome last weekend with the kind of opportunities that we saw there. Don, I won't let you rest. Andre, we won't let you rest. August is too far. We want those things. We want the access. So data in advanced mode is live. We need to speak live to data across all our solutions, we believe. And also, to sum that up, IQ is no longer enough. Emotional quotient is key. We need that client relationship. The client doesn't like your face. You're all speaking big grammar. You're going to lose the business at the end of the day. Thank you.
How do I go back? Okay. Michael, this is to say your dream of the Reclaim Your DNA actually worked. So in Ghana, just last month, the Ashanti King and his people actually received the first batch of those artifacts from the British Museum. And we're waiting for the Americans. So they are in line to bring some of our artifacts by June this year. So I remember last year, we had a terrible 2022, and Emeka will call me, Andrew, what is happening in Ghana? Your inflation. I'm looking at the exchange rate. This will be good for dividend. Little did Emeka know that usually Nigeria coughs and Ghana catches a cold. This time we coughed, and Nigeria is now catching the cold. So we had a challenging 2023. I think that it's been said by speakers before me. And what happened in Ghana was that the economic downturn actually led to two things. The government had to restructure debt negotiations domestically, which affected consumer confidence because there were haircuts on some of the earnings of your investment in government bonds and all of that. Then they had a bigger task of negotiating with China and Europe so that we could access the IMF loans. So in all, apart from consumer confidence going down, clients had two choices. Either they're going to cut back on their budget or they're going to slow down production, which again will affect how much they're investing in the market. So it was a tough year, but the double whammy actually happened with iProspect. So for the first time in a long time, when Andre was speaking, I was like, the year before, Dentsu had the biggest bonus package, and just the year after, we are talking about losses. So it was a tough year for us. iProspect, for the first time, actually was in the loss because we had that double whammy of our key clients not spending. That was Nestle. They cut down. Airtel Tigo was going through their own restructuring, so they also didn't spend. We saw creative. We took that chance of investing in creative, and again, the template that was used in Kenya and Nigeria, we used it pretty well. We saw that coming in, and we saw some great collaboration between Kara and DC in terms of integrating, and we got some really good business because of Bethel's introduction with the Betway client. We got that creative business, which is great. We also got production for Dano and a couple of other clients. So it was a great business that we took from a 3 million to now 8.5 in 2003, and because Kara overachieved, we're able to cover some of the losses for iProspect. Now, this is the shape that we want to create in 2024, where you see stronger collaboration between Kara and the creative team, and also with the change in leadership at iProspect, we're expecting that iProspect begin to recover because now we're on a path of recovery. In Ghana, there's a craze for beating world records. It's everything thorn. So we've also taken pitch-a-thon. This year we're going to pitch on anything and everything. But I like what Andre said, that we need to be very calculated and clinical. And I think this year alone we've pitched on quite a bit of some interesting clients. We've already had some signings, and we are very positive that we're going to win a lot more to come. So Kara, obviously, to maintain the leadership, and then continue to cross-sell creatives from media to creative. And obviously, with Senano coming on board with commercial financing to help us explore a lot more on ECL to maintain that growth. Deep collaboration with the creative team. I'm quite proud of what you're doing. After 2 years, stabilized, now about to grow. And also they presented a production proposal to me, which I'll share with Dawn later on, because we want to take advantage of the value chain, and get into production, original content production, collaborate with clients and vendors on how to produce some refreshing content in the market. In terms of our competition, we see Publicis and Ogilvy, obviously, with very strong creative legacy, but we see them now inching back into space that they weren't as comfortable as we were, like media. With the ABSA, when we have a feel they have some investment in people, we have a feel that they're actually at our tails. Ogilvy, we've seen some new creative director, new leadership. So again, we think that is going to pose, it won't pose a challenge, but they continue to be strong in that space. We are late in creative, but I think that we could harness that. Then Innova DDB, that is really good at local creative wins. So these are competitors, and we are very excited at DC that even though we started small, only 2 years in the market, we are actually inching up good, big global wins. But we think that local wins and actually giving them a reason why they need to pitch camp with us is going to be the way to go. OMD, we've been beating them in the market in terms of, market share and size and all of that. But recently, of course, they went back to talk to, Peter, what's the client? The Russian client, the one that we lost. Yes, Yango. The moment Yango had issues with that, the next day they were actually sitting there, no, we can do it for you. We are global, but we can do it for you. They also have a very interesting way of going behind us to, to get our clients. But we think that with our strength and with leadership, we are going to surpass that. Key innovation, we took a try on our first brief with the Betway, and this was supposed to be achieved. One of the largest outdoor that was ever created in a spectacular way. Again, you saw a small circle on how we want the outlook to look like in 2024, because we have a young chap in our business who is really great with tech. So this was a dashboard that we created for GTP, that's Vlisco, who wanted us to integrate both their sales and their media metrics so they can look at that dashboard on a day-to-day basis and see how they can grow, and we thought that was great. He's also developing something internally for the digital team. So tech is an area that we think we can be strong. Already spoken to Serene to share some thoughts. Emeka will come to you to share your thoughts on how we grow that. Then we also have a very strong, if I would say, PR team and manager that is also creating her own revenue pipelines. And Stanchart wanted us to have a comprehensive PR solution for them, and for the first time we're able to integrate that technically on we're using CTFM on all their digital platform, and they're quite excited because everywhere they went they saw that publication. So these are just the few. How we're going to win? Deep radical collaboration, obviously, and we already can see the impact of that this year. Defend leadership. Of course, we want to pitch and win and pitch again for iPro and DC. And also continue to explore, how we're going to commercially, elevate our revenue pipelines and explore some tech. So that brings the end to Ghana. Thank you very much.
Where's my slide? There we go. Hello. At least it's not the shift after lunchtime. But I will be quite concise. So I've been asked by Dawn to talk about innovating in media. And I hope my song reminded you of Rocky. And I think that's just how I feel. We're all talking about our challenges, and, we don't have any top-line growth. Same for South Africa. We haven't had top-line growth for 3 years running now. And last year was another year like that. Now, being in my position, trading, it's very hard. Hey, can I have a deal? No, you haven't grown. So we were staring another a year in the face with no top-line growth. And the other, to compound that problem, was our biggest partner in SalesNet SABC, which was our most lucrative media partner as well, decided to have no deals in place at all. So we were sitting with a massive, massive budget gap, about 12 million rand, and we didn't know how to solve that. So, but we did. So this movie is the greatest underdog story of all time. That's what it's known for. And South Africa's business made media budget, as you saw this morning, 110%. Sales net grew by 31%, and media income grew by 64% year on year, with no top line growth. Come on. How did we achieve that? Innovation. We had to find another way to actually make our targets. We had to find ways to grow revenue, to grow margin, to be able to pay our staff bonuses. But before I go into our products, I wanted to define innovation. I hate the word innovation, actually. You know, when a client says to you, oh, I don't really like your team, they don't bring me enough innovation. What does that mean? Like, what is innovation? So if we look at innovation, it's different to each and every single person here because we have different goals, different perspectives, different experiences. Some people might want to just challenge the status quo and come up with something really, and express their creativity and come up with something new. Other people might just want to improve efficiencies, improve quality. But at the end of the day, it is about solving problems, it is about improving solutions, and it is about meeting a need, not just something new. So I think the product that I'm going to talk about, and I think you've heard about this product, and I don't even know, who knows Night Vision? Hands up. Not everyone knows what that product really is, and that's the one I'm going to talk about. And I think the reason why Night Vision is such a success is it's something very new. It is a global media first, but at the same time, it solved a really big problem for us. It improved our solutions, and it met a need. Sound.
And it is getting darker every quarter.
There's no doubt that load shedding is very disruptive, and it means that South Africans have to plan their lives carefully around Eskom's schedules.
Load shedding has a significant effect on the channels in which we communicate. TV audiences, for example, are affected by up to 25%. A key issue for marketing professionals is therefore understanding how to adjust the current channel mix design to potentially mitigate the negative effect that load shedding has and ensure that campaign objectives are still met. A key element to consider is the spontaneity of the load shedding schedule. People are essentially shifting their viewership patterns by area every few hours. A consideration is, can I shift my investment in real time as the schedules change? This formed the backbone of our proprietary load-shedding media solution, Night Vision, built on a simple insight. When the power goes out, most of us reach for our phones as a source of entertainment due to the limited alternative options like TV. Through the use of real-time location data, load-shedding schedules, and audience data, we developed a proprietary data solution to ensure campaign performance wouldn't be as severely affected. Night Vision identifies dark zones and upweights media touchpoints not as impacted by load shedding in real time. Night Vision is a global media first and helps to solve a unique South African media challenge, taking advantage of high attention moments and devices during an otherwise problematic scenario. Lights out, phones up, solar power solutions search.
So in my mind, it's a perfect product. And it's not because it's my idea. But I think if you think about a product that you want to go and take to a client, it's easy to sell. It's easy to explain. How often have we stood in front of a client and we're trying to sell them some data or tech solution, and it's just so complex to explain. So night vision is really easy to explain. I think if you take that video to any one of your clients and you just go and present that video, then the client will know exactly what it is and say, yes, thank you very much, put it on the schedule. It actually delivers performance. So every single campaign that we run across any platform, it actually does improve the performance of that campaign. So it delivers the results. So you've got a good quality product. And it's a hot topic. Power outages, load shedding, what are you doing about protecting my losses? So it's a hot topic for our clients. And what's perfect is it's extremely hard to develop. Hi, Paul. My brilliant data engineer, Paul. Which makes it, in my mind, a perfect product because you've got first to market opportunity and your competitors can't create something overnight. And it's easy to explain and it's a hot topic. So, you know, I think that for me, what Night Vision presented was a really good product for us to be able to take to our clients that can solve their need, improve our solutions, and we can actually make margin from it. But, I don't know if you know Lorena. Lorena runs our media brands. This was me, 4 months down the line, shaking Lorena and rocks, my whole South African management team. And I was just like, I don't understand. We have a product that is a hot topic. It's 40% margin. We've just done our rebudgeting. We have got a 12 million rand budget gap. It is June. We've launched Night Vision, and this thing is not on the media schedules. How? Why? I don't get it, you know? So, I mean, Dawn's in Cannes talking to Vaughan about load shedding and their problems, and then like a year later, they don't even have one campaign running Night Vision. It's mind-blowing. So, and I also walked around the offices. We did numerous face-to-face meetings, launches, press releases, and I can be quite assertive walking to our staff's desk going, okay, where's the Night Vision budget? I want the Night Vision budget. And I was starting to panic because how is it possible to have a product that's easy and delivers performance that we can confidently sell and we just don't have any traction? So obviously it all came together because we eventually did hit our numbers. But I think the key learning there is no matter what the product is, adoption just takes time. So launching a new product, you're not going to see those returns in your business immediately. We reckon it's about 4 months. Emeka, maybe it will be shorter in Nigeria. But getting a new product into clients, onto schedules, approved, presented to the CMO, it just takes time. And time, it was not something that we had. So that's why I looked like that, shaking. So what's the key learnings from this product? Because it takes time, you need to be able to build it on the fly. So we launched it, we built it with just Cape Town City. And then we scaled it to other cities. So we launched it with just the city mapped. So we went first to market. And we made sure that we didn't have, what this means is when you can build it on the fly, don't have a hell of a lot of investment into it. So it doesn't cost you an arm and a leg to keep it running. We made sure that it was high margin, which drove the belief in the business. Because if it's not high margin, if it doesn't bring you fortune, obviously it brings you fame. But if it doesn't bring you that margin, it's quite hard for you to go and justify continuous investment from your CFO into a product. And if you think that a product is going to take 3 months to find traction, you must be able to show the returns to the business. We knew that it would be able to scale, so we're launching Night Vision Nigeria this week. Very excited about that. And the model around the Nigeria Night Vision and how we've changed the structure, which we'll go in a bit more detail later or tomorrow or on day 3, actually enables it to scale globally to other markets with power issues. And it's tech-enabled. And all of this just basically means that it's low investment in terms of running it, and you can actually keep it going. So that's the key learnings from this product. just takes time. So don't go and invest into something that's going to cost you R1 million or $100,000 a month to run, and then 3 months later you've got this high cost to be able to get back. So how do we choose products and solutions? And I think if we go back to what it should deliver, has to solve a problem, has to improve a solution, and has to meet a need. All three would be great, and if it is something new, that would be even better. And it has to also, I think, be easy to explain, has to be able to perform as a product, has to be a hot topic, and there needs to be some IP there that we can protect as a business, because otherwise we're going to invest all of this time and effort into creating a solution for our clients, and then a week later our competitors are already doing it as well. And then build as you fly, high margin, scale, and tech enabled. How do we succeed? Adopt. So I think when we talk about adoption, I don't think it's just about once it's developed, launched, go to your clients and getting them to adopt it. This is really about making sure that everybody in that team is aligned. I mean, we had to get logos made from Dentsu Creative, with data engineers, programmers, strategy, write the right narrative to launch this to our clients. It's actually really managing all of the stakeholders to really drive that adoption. And I can clearly remember, this is me again, lying on Dawn's couch and saying to her, I never, ever, ever want to come up with another idea in this business because it is hard. It is so hard. I don't know what to say. And what makes it so hard is there's no point where you can go, okay, I've done my part, now I'm handing over to you. I never handed over to Paul. We worked together. We led it together. Then I needed to get Graham involved together. There's no point where I could hand over Night Vision. Even now, from conceptualization to development, to building the launch decks, to driving the implementation, to making sure that it's compliant, Rishda, to now writing award entries. It's the pain of my life. But if you don't do it, you're never going to get the fame or the fortune. So I think the key thing here is it's not easy. And what worries me is I've been with this business even before the business even came into South Africa. So it's a long time. I don't have any fear walking around the office building going, you will give me Night Vision budget right now. And someone who might have a really good idea might not have the years with the company. So they might not have that ability to be so assertive, to lead this project and this product. And I think that is where that comes in. When you choose a product or a solution that you want to invest in, looking at all those categories to make sure that we've ticked the boxes, that we can carry it for 4 months, you as leaders will need to support your Rocky, to the end, because it is really not easy to actually get a product off the ground. And even to this day, we're now in load shedding 5 and 6, and I don't see enough Night Vision budgets on the schedules. Still, a year later, you've got to drive that adoption. So I think a key thing for me and the key learnings from Night Vision is if you don't take it from the idea right through to writing the award entries, your ideas will get lost. And the problem that we face is if you don't drive it fast and hard, needs change. Load shedding might not be around forever. So if you've got an idea that solves a need right now, you've got to drive that right now. and get it to succeed as quickly as possible so that you can get that traction and benefit from that idea. Because a year from now, needs will change. Might be a commerce product that we need to focus on rather. So bruises heal. Was it worth it? Yes. So I think it's a 40% margin product for us. It's made us quite, and that 4.5 million profit is just purely night vision. But night vision, the tech also transformed the way that we worked with Google. So we've got our private marketplace in Google, which is first in the world. I don't know why EMEA doesn't make money from Google. I mean, Andre, just talk to me. So, but it really did. So when you start operating in a different space with your media partners, talking about different things, you actually have access to different people in that organization as well. And that brings different opportunities. So that also, for me, is an opportunity for us to really believe that we can actually do something different in our business. We've won quite a lot of awards. We're scaling to Nigeria. And yeah, it's been an amazing journey. So our pipeline, GeoVision is just a spin-off from Night Vision. It's key learnings that we actually found from the setup and the technology from Paul's team into our team for YouTube. So it's a YouTube-based product. So our focus is really around touching on Meta and Google. That is where the money is. And how do we build commercial products there? They're not tradable. They're not ever going to give you anything other than an AVB. So if we can invest into technology that drives the performance on those platforms and own that IP, then basically it's good for the platform. It will drive more investment to the platform, and they're happy. But also we own that IP and the technology, so we can actually charge for it. So the results we've got on GeoVision running on YouTube is incredible. So it's like 3,000% more. Paul's always very nervous when I say, let's just put it out into the press. He's like, no, it can't be that good. I'm like, it is that good. So that's a very exciting product. We have to have a product for Meta. So interesting in this space, the negotiations we've got so far is actually they're looking at doing like a sort of early payment type of discount for us on their platform where we use night vision technology. So, and then Pulse, which is our digital share of voice prediction. It's a product that Paul has built for a few months, or maybe even a bit longer. So that is something that we're going to focus on. And then tech-enabled out-of-home activation. So those are the four sort of things that I think it's more than enough for this year. Don't know if there's anything more. Yeah, so as to end off, I think pick one or two, not a lot. Invest in that and invest in the person that's driving it. That person cannot give up. And you push it through and make sure that it doesn't cost you a lot in the beginning and that you can scale it because that makes financial sense and it will give you fame. And then I think we can go to lunch.
Si el ritmo te lleva a mover la cabeza, ya empezamos como es. Mi música no discrimina a nadie, así que vamos a romper.
Con lo mío todo se mueve, la fiesta la llevo en mis genes. Yo soy la reina de los nenes, mi gente no se detiene y aquí nadie se quiere ir. Si el ritmo está en tu cabeza, ahora suéltate y mueve los pies. Me encanta cuando el bajo suena, empezamos a subir de nivel.
Y toda mi gente se mueve.
La fiesta la llevo en mis genes. Yo soy la reina de los nenes.
Mi música los tiene fuerte bailando y se baila así. discoteca, la fiesta no para apenas comienza.
C'est comme ça, ma chérie, la 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 la.
Francia,
Colombia,
Houston, freeze.
J Balvin, Willy William,
Beyoncé, freeze.
Los DJ no mienten, le gusta a mi gente y eso se fue muy bien. No les bajamos, mas nunca paramos, es otro palo y
¿y
vamos.
dónde está mi gente?
Me fue bouger la tête.
Azula, you're with me.
Say yeah, yeah.
Si el ritmo te lleva a mover la cabeza, ya empezamos como es. Mi música no discrimina a nadie, así que vamos a romper.
Con lo mío todos se mueven. La fiesta la llevo en mis genes. Yo soy la reina de los nenes. Mi gente no se detiene, aquí nadie se quiere ir. Si el ritmo está en tu cabeza, ahora suéltate y mueve los pies. Me encanta cuando el bajo suena, empezamos a subir de
Y
nivel.
toda mi gente se mueve.
La fiesta la llevo en mis genes. Yo soy la reina de los nenes.
Mi música los tiene fuerte bailando y se baila así.
Estamos rompiendo la discoteca, la fiesta no para apenas comienza.
C'est comme ça, ma chérie, la 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 la.
Francia,
Colombia,
Houston, freeze.
J Balvin, Willy William,
Beyoncé, freeze.
Los DJ no mienten, le gusta a mi gente y eso se fue muy bien. No les bajamos, mas nunca paramos, es otro palo y
¿y
vamos.
dónde está mi gente?
Me fue bouger la tête.
Azula, you're with me.
Say yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Say my body stay wetter than the ocean. And they say that Creole in my body's like a potion. I can be a beast or I can give you emotion. Please don't question my devotion. I've been giving birth on these haters cause I'm fertile. See these double C's on his back. Murder. Want my double D's in his bed. Serta. If you really love me, make an album about me. Word up. Soon as I walk in, boys start they talking. Right as that booty sway. Slay. Lift up your people. From Texas, Puerto Rico, Islands to Mexico.
¿Y dónde está mi gente?
Me fue bouger la tête.
¿Y dónde está mi gente?
Say yeah, yeah, yeah.
Esquina a esquina, y ahí nos vamos. El mundo es grande, pero lo tengo en mis manos. Estoy muy duro, sí, ok, ahí vamos. Y con el tiempo nos seguimos elevando. Que seguimos rompiendo aquí. Esta fiesta no tiene fin. Botellas para arriba,
Mi gente
sí.
no se detiene, aquí
¿Y
nadie se
dónde
quiere
está mi
ir.
gente?
Me fue bouger la tête.
Azula, you're with me.
Say yeah, yeah, yeah.
Worldwide, Willie Williams, Jake Balvin, man.
Si el ritmo te lleva a mover la cabeza, ya empezamos como es. Mi música no discrimina a nadie, así que vamos a romper.
Con lo mío todos se mueven. La fiesta la llevo en mis genes. Yo soy la reina de los nenes. Mi gente no se detiene, aquí nadie se quiere ir. Si el ritmo está en tu cabeza, ahora suéltate y mueve los pies. Me encanta cuando el bajo suena, empezamos a subir de
Y
nivel.
toda mi gente se mueve.
La fiesta la llevo en mis genes. Yo soy la reina de los nenes.
Mi música los tiene fuerte bailando y se baila así.
discoteca, la fiesta no para apenas comienza.
C'est comme ça, ma chérie, la 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 la.
Francia,
Colombia,
Houston, freeze.
J Balvin, Willy William,
Beyoncé, freeze.
Los DJ no mienten, le gusta a mi gente y eso se fue muy bien. No les bajamos, mas nunca paramos, es otro palo y
¿y
plano.
dónde está mi gente?
Me fait bouger la tête.
Azula, you're with me.
Say yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Say my body stay wetter than the ocean. And they say that Creole in my body's like a Porsche. I can be a beast or I can give you emotion. Please don't question my devotion. I've been giving birth on these haters cause I'm fertile. See these double C's on his back. Murder. Want my double D's in his bed. Serta. If you really love me, make an album about me. Word up. Soon as I walk in, boys start they talking. Right as that booty sway. Slay. Lift up your people. From Texas, Puerto Rico, Islands to Mexico.
¿Y dónde está mi gente?
Me fait bouger la tête.
¿Y dónde está mi gente? Say yeah, yeah, yeah. Esquina a esquina, y ahí nos vamos. El mundo es grande, pero lo tengo en mis manos. Estoy muy duro, sí, ok, ahí vamos. Y con el tiempo nos seguimos elevando. Que seguimos rompiendo aquí. Esta fiesta no tiene fin. Botellas para arriba,
Mi
sí.
gente no se detiene, aquí
¿Y
nadie se
dónde está
quiere.
mi gente?
Me fait bouger la tête.
Azula, you're with me.
Say yeah, yeah, yeah.
Worldwide, Willie Williams, Jake Balvin, man.
Si el ritmo te lleva a mover la cabeza, ya empezamos como es. Mi música no discrimina a nadie, así que vamos a romper.
Con lo mío todos se mueven. La fiesta la llevo en mis genes. Yo soy la reina de los nenes. Mi gente no se detiene, aquí nadie se quiere ir. Si el ritmo está en tu cabeza, ahora suéltate y mueve los pies. Me encanta cuando el bajo suena, empezamos a subir de
Y
nivel.
toda mi gente se mueve.
La fiesta la llevo en mis genes. Yo soy la reina de los nenes.
Mi música los tiene fuerte bailando y se baila así.
Estamos rompiendo la discoteca, la fiesta no para apenas comienza.
C'est comme ça, ma chérie, la 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 la.
Francia,
Colombia,
Houston, freeze.
J Balvin, Willy William,
Beyoncé, freeze.
Los DJ no mienten, le gusta a mi gente y eso se fue muy bien. No les bajamos, mas nunca paramos, es otro palo y
¿y
plano.
dónde está mi gente?
Me fait bouger la tête.
Azula, you're with me.
Say yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Say my body stay wetter than the ocean. And they say that Creole in my body's like a Porsche. I can be a beast or I can give you emotion. Please don't question my devotion. I've been giving birth on these haters cause I'm fertile. See these double C's on his back. Murder. Want my double D's in his bed. Serta. If you really love me, make an album about me. Word up. Soon as I walk in, boys start they talking. Right as that booty sway. Slay. Lift up your people. From Texas, Puerto Rico, Islands to Mexico.
¿Y dónde está mi gente?
Me fait bouger la tête.
¿Y dónde está mi gente? Say yeah, yeah, yeah. esquina y ahí nos vamos. El mundo es grande, pero lo tengo en mis manos. Estoy muy duro, sí, ok, ahí vamos. Y con el tiempo nos seguimos elevando. Que seguimos rompiendo aquí. Esta fiesta no tiene fin. Botellas para arriba, sí.
Mi gente no se detiene, aquí nadie
¿Y
se
dónde está
quiere
mi
ir.
gente? Me fue bouger la tête.
Azula, you're with me.
Say yeah, yeah, yeah. 1, 2, 3,
Worldwide, Willie Williams, Jake Bouncing, man.
Si el ritmo te lleva a mover la cabeza, ya empezamos como es. Mi música no discrimina a nadie, así que vamos a romper.
Con lo mío todos se mueven. La fiesta la llevo en mis genes. Yo soy la reina de los nenes. Mi gente no se detiene, aquí nadie se quiere ir. Si el ritmo está en tu cabeza, ahora suéltate y mueve los pies. Me encanta cuando el bajo suena, empezamos a subir de
Y
nivel.
toda mi gente se mueve.
La fiesta la llevo en mis genes. Yo soy la reina de los nenes.
Mi música los tiene fuerte bailando y se baila así.
Estamos rompiendo la discoteca, la fiesta no para, apenas comienza.
C'est comme ça, ma chérie, la 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 la.
Francia,
Colombia,
Houston,
freeze. J Balvin, Willie William,
Beyoncé,
freeze. Los DJ no mienten, le gusta a mi gente y eso se fue muy bien. No les bajamos, mas nunca paramos, es otro palo y
¿Y
vamos.
dónde está mi gente? Me fue bouger la tête.
Azula, you're with me.
Say yeah, yeah, yeah. 1, 2, 3,
Yeah, yeah,
luego.
yeah, yeah. Say my body stay wetter than the ocean. And they say that Creole in my body's like a Porsche. I can be a beast or I can give you emotion. Please don't question my devotion. I've been giving birth on these haters cause I'm fertile. See these double C's on his back. Murder. Want my double D's in his bed. Serta. If you really love me, make an album about me. Word up. Soon as I walk in, boys start they talking. Right as that booty sway. Slay. Lift up your people. From Texas, Puerto
Yeah.
Rico, Islands to Mexico.
¿Y dónde está mi gente? Me fue bouger la tête. ¿Y dónde está mi gente?
Okay, I have to just phone it to dial in. Sorry, I just need her to dial in quickly. Hello, my angel. Please, can you just dial in? We're just going to test it quickly. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to hold on a sec. This microphone.
Yeah, and one sheet.
Okay, we're just waiting for you. Okay, there we go. Okay, Alex, I'm just connecting with you on the microphone. Guys, can you get her up on the screen?
I got to move from you.
Alex, hoe gaan jou Afrikaans vandag? Okay, I can't hear you. We're just trying to figure this out. Alex, while they're doing this, can you just put your hand up to tell me if you can hear me? Okay, great. So we're running late. So we've done this test. I'm going to let you get off, and then I'll give you like a 3-4 minute warning, and then dial in again. And then while we're doing that, we'll have your song playing, your title, and then just bring your energy and say, hi, I'm Alex Pryor. If you can introduce yourself. Is that okay? Thumbs up? Okay. What about on the screen? Hold on, we're just trying to get you up on the screen. Luister, ek is vreeslik jammer oor. Ek kan jou sien. Hey, Alex. Okay, can you play it through the speakers? Can you play it through the speakers so we can test?
Testing,
Go.
testing.
Okay, just introduce yourself again, Alex.
Good. Hi there, everyone. I'm Alex Pryor. Great to be here today.
Thank you, my angel. I will message you 3 minutes before and then just get you on. I'm sorry, we're about 15, 20 minutes late. Is that okay?
Not a problem at all, Ingrid. All good.
Thank you, thank you.
Pleasure. Bye-bye.
Thank you, my angel. I will message you 3 minutes before and then just get you on.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, we're about 15, 20 minutes late. Is that okay?
Esquina a esquina, y ahí nos vamos. El mundo es grande, pero lo tengo en mis manos. Estoy muy duro, sí, ok, ahí vamos. Y con el tiempo nos seguimos elevando. Que seguimos rompiendo aquí. Esta fiesta no tiene fin. Botellas para arriba, sí.
Mi gente no se detiene, aquí nadie
¿Y
se
dónde
quiere
está mi
ir.
gente? Me fue a bouger la tête.
Azula, you're with me.
Say yeah, yeah, yeah. 1, 2, 3, luego.
Worldwide, Willie Williams, Jake Falcon, man.
Si el ritmo te lleva a mover la cabeza, ya empezamos como es. Mi música no discrimina a nadie, así que vamos a romper.
Con lo mío todos se mueven. La fiesta la llevo en mis genes. Yo soy la reina de los nenes. Mi gente no se detiene, aquí nadie se quiere ir. Si el ritmo está en tu cabeza, ahora suéltate y mueve los pies. Me encanta cuando el bajo suena, empezamos a subir de
Y
nivel.
toda mi gente se mueve.
La fiesta la llevo en mis genes. Yo soy la reina de los nenes.
Mi música los tiene fuerte bailando y se baila así.
Estamos rompiendo la discoteca, la fiesta no para, apenas comienza.
C'est comme ça, ma chérie, la 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 la.
Francia,
Colombia,
Houston,
freeze. J Balvin, Willie William,
Beyoncé,
freeze. Los DJ no mienten, le gusta a mi gente y eso se fue muy bien. No les bajamos, mas nunca paramos, es otro palo y
¿Y
plano.
dónde está mi gente? Me fue a bouger la tête.
Azula, you're with me.
Say yeah, yeah, yeah. 1, 2, 3,
Yeah, yeah,
luego.
yeah, yeah. Say my body stay wetter than the ocean. And they say that Creole in my body's like a potion. I can be a beast or I can give you emotion. But please don't question my devotion. I've been giving birth on these haters cause I'm fertile. See these double C's on his back. Murder. Want my double D's in this bed. If you really love me, make an album about me. Word up. Soon as I walk in, boys start they talking. Right as that booty sway. Slay. Lift up your people. From Texas, Puerto Rico, Islands to Mexico.
¿Y dónde está mi gigante? Me fue a bouger la tête. ¿Y dónde está mi gigante? Say yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's Chris with the drama boy.
To the north
and the south,
and the south.
We are one.
We are one.
We are one.
We are one.
If we come together, let's make way to the world together. To be and that's all. Nairobi, baby, I'll be down to San Francisco. I love you, baby, and you know we want that. To Tanzania, now to Nigeria.
This is Africa. This is Africa.
I remember Mandela. I remember Kwame Nkrumah. I remember Fela Kuti. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nnamdi Azikiwe.
Sure. Are you ready?
I remember Lucky Dube. I remember Brenda Fassie. Yeah, yeah. We are Africans. So let us come together as one.
Kenya,
Tanzania,
South
Africa.
Let's go.
Malawi,
Nigeria,
Ghana,
Tunisia.
Nairobi, baby, I'll be down to San Francisco. I love you, baby, and you know we want that. To Tanzania, now to Nigeria. That's how we do it. Yeah, we united in Africa.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Africa. Africa's time, ladies and gentlemen. Ha.
It's Chris with the drama boy.
To the north
and the south,
and the south.
We are one.
We are one.
We are one.
We are one.
If we come together, let's make way to the world
together.
to be and that's all. Nairobi, baby, I'll be down to San Francisco. I love you, baby, and you know we want that. To Tanzania, now to Nigeria. That's how we do it. Yeah, we united in Africa.
This is Africa. This is Africa.
I remember Mandela. I remember Kwame Nkrumah. I remember Fela Kuti. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nnamdi Azikiwe.
Sure. Are you ready?
I remember Lucky Dube. I remember Brenda Fassie.
Africa. Let's go. Malawi. Malawi. Nigeria. Nigeria. Ghana. Namibia. Tunisia. Nairobi, baby. I'll be down to Senegal. I love you, baby. And you know we wanna go. To Tanzania, down to Nigeria. That's how we do it. Yeah, we united in Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Africa. Africa's time, ladies and gentlemen. Ha. We are one.
It's Chris with the drama boy.
To the north and the south, we are one. We are one. We are one. We are one. If we come together, let's make world to the world together. To be and that's all. Africa, Nairobi, baby. I'll be down to Senegal. I love you, baby, and you know we wanna go. To Tanzania, down to Nigeria. That's how we do it. Yeah, we united in Africa.
This is Africa. This is Africa.
I remember Mandela. I remember Kwame Nkrumah. I remember Fela Kuti. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nnamdi Azikiwe. 1, 2, are you ready? I remember Lucky Dube. I remember Brenda Fassie. Yeah, yeah. We are Africans. So let us come together as one. Kenya, Tanzania, South Africa. Let's go. Malawi, Nigeria, Ghana, Tunisia, Nairobi, baby. I'll be down to Senegal. I love you, baby, and you know we wanna go. To Tanzania, down to Nigeria. That's how we do it. Yeah, we united in Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Africa. Africa's time, ladies and gentlemen. Ha. We are one.
It's Chris with the drama boy.
Yeah, yeah. Danny, all my bad up, go maro. And me fed diet, yo, go maro. Take your eyes up, go maro. Yeah, no, that's okay, go maro. From the east to the west, to the north and the south, we are one. We are one. We are one. We are one. If we come together, let's make world to the world together. To be and that's all. Africa, Nairobi, baby. I'll be down to Senegal. I love you, baby, and you know we wanna go. To Tanzania, down to Nigeria. That's how
This is Africa. This is Africa.
I remember Mandela. I remember Kwame Nkrumah. I remember Fela Kuti. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nnamdi Azikiwe. 1, 2, are you ready? I remember Lucky Dube. I remember Brenda Fassie. Yeah, yeah. We are Africans. So let us come together as one. Kenya, Tanzania, Africa. Let's go. Malawi, Nigeria, Ghana. We are one. Tunisia, Nairobi, Abidjan, Senegal. I love you, baby, and you know we want Africa. To Tanzania, now to Nigeria, Africa. That's how we do it. Yeah, we united in Africa.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Africa. Africa is time, ladies and gentlemen. Ha.
We are one.
It's Crispy the drama boy.
To the north
and the south,
we
are one.
We are one.
We are one.
We are one.
If we come together, let's make way to the world
together.
To be and that's Africa. Nairobi, baby, I'll be down to Senegal. I love you, baby, and you know we want Africa. To Tanzania, now to Nigeria, Africa. That's how we do it. Yeah, we united in Africa.
This is Africa. This is Africa.
I remember Mandela. I remember Kwame Nkrumah. I remember Fela Kuti. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nnamdi Azikiwe.
1, 2, are you ready?
I remember Lucky Dube. I remember Brenda Fassie. Yeah, yeah. We are Africans. So let us come together as one.
Kenya,
Tanzania,
Tanzania,
Africa.
let's go.
Malawi,
Nigeria,
Ghana.
Tunisia,
Nairobi, baby, Abidjan, Senegal. I love you, baby, and you know we want Africa. To Tanzania, now to Nigeria, Africa. That's how we do it. Yeah, we united in Africa.
ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Africa. Africa is time, ladies and gentlemen. Ha.
We are one.
It's Crispy the drama boy.
north,
and the south.
and the south.
We are one.
We are one.
We are one.
We are one.
If we come together, let's make way to the world
together.
to be and that's all. Nairobi, baby, I'll be down to send oh, I love you, baby, and you know we want that oh, to Tanzania, now to Nigeria oh, that's how we do it, yeah, we united in Africa.
This is Africa. This is Africa.
I remember Mandela. I remember Kwame Nkrumah. I remember Fela Kuti. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nnamdi Azikiwe.
1, 2, are you ready?
I remember Lucky Dube. I remember Brenda Fassie. Yeah, yeah. We are Africans. So let us come together as one. Kenya, Tanzania,
Tanzania,
Africa.
Let's go.
Malawi,
Nigeria,
Ghana. We are one.
Tunisia.
Nairobi, baby, I'll be down to send oh, I love you, baby, and you know we want that oh, to Tanzania, now to Nigeria oh, that's how we do it, yeah, we united in Africa.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Africa. Africa is time, ladies and gentlemen. Ha.
We are one.
Check. Yeah. Hello? Check. Can you hear me? Can you guys speak? Can you guys hear me? Maybe with the microphone. Okay, I can hear you.
I can hear you loud and clear. I can hear you. You can hear me, right? So you're good. Are we good?
Birthday. I've been around the world but never seen such kind of love, such kind of love, such kind of love.
I've been around the world but never seen such kind of love, such kind of love, such kind of love. Oh, baby.
Vicky Bandes.
Elewa wewe wangu wa moyoni, ulivyojaza ndipo moyoni, hakika mwengine sioni. Elewa
I never seen such kind of love, such kind of love, such kind of love.
I've been around the world but never seen such kind of love. Such kind of love. Such kind of love. Oh baby. Oh baby. Oh baby. Oh baby.
Heal my heart and touch my soul. Vele ngishayela uvalo. Wangithanda ngenanto. Ngelo siyami yokuphila. Cela uhlale nami. Uthando lwami dale. Lubanzi lujulile. Ngifisa ukuchitha insuku zokuphila nawe. Ithemba lami dale liyophelela kuwe injabulo yansuku zonke my sweet darling sandwa sami wosa my love wosa my love bambol wami wosa my love wosa my love sandwa sami wosa my love wosa my love bambol wami wosa my love wosa my love. Senghamba makilomita mino, senghamba makilomita mino. Efsika bengisula ngifuna wena, phela wena imfudumalo yami yemnyo. Imizwa yami yakhuluma masibukana, ivele ithi dali sondela ngithi manga. Ufika empilweni yami ilanga lisahwalala, buka manje sekuyakanya kuyaqhakaza. Mamele inhliziyo yami darling ngoba nginawo amaningi. Lalela inhliziyo yami darling ngoba nginawo amaningi. Uthando lwami dale lubanzi lujulile ngifisa ukuchitha insuku zokuphila nawe ithemba lami dale liyophelela kuwe injabulo yansuku zonke my sweet darling sandwa sami wosa my love wosa my love bambol wami wosa my love wosa my love sandwa sami wosa my love wosa my love bambol wami wosa my love wosa my love sandwa sami wosa my love wosa my love bambol wami wosa my love wosa my love sandwa sami wosa my love wosa my love bambol wami wosa my love wosa my love.
property ndagukunda totally totally waminuye so funny nasoni yeah yeah wangomye love ufite apeti birenga no gukabya inzozi bambona ndi muri la vida loca wingendi hasi wangize idage waje no sais pas gusa numva mbikunze très jolie nana wingendi hasi yerega wangize idage waje no sais pas gusa numva mbikunze très jolie nana
bado na hasira, bado unanichukia, bado na kinyongo, moyo wako lishazira, bado unaninunia, hivi bado una usongo, kusema bora tuachane, ndo kauli inaoniuma kila nikikumbuka, tusitafutane, sikujua narusha jiwe ndege ukapeperuka, tusijuane, nilisema kwa sira, naona najua, tusinitukane, namba yangu nyingine usijefuni, sipendi tuchukiane, naugua kila nikikumbuka zamani, sisemi turudiane, najua kwako ni ngumu haiwezekani, ila want you to know I miss you, I Kwa sura yako, mabusu ya midomo yako ni ishara ya upendo toka moyoni mwako. Naahidi nitakuwa na wewe daima, na nimezama cha mapenzi kisima. Jitahidi kunitunzia heshima, wambea wengi sana na wamejaa fitina. So let me say K-I-S-S, just a kiss for you. Unanipendeza sana we mama. K-I-S-S, glad to call you mommy as you call me daddy. Ooh, kiss, 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 kiss.
It's Crispy the drama boy.
To the north and the south, we are one. We are one. We are one. We are one.
If we come together, let's make way to the world
together.
To be yours. And I know Nairobi, baby, I'll be down to send Africa. I love you, baby, and you know we want Africa. To Tanzania, now to Nigeria, Africa. That's how we do it. Yeah, we united in Africa.
This is Africa. This is Africa.
I remember Mandela. I remember Kwame Nkrumah. I remember Fela Kuti. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nnamdi Azikiwe.
1, 2, are you ready?
I remember Lucky Dube. I remember Brenda Fassie. Yeah, yeah. We are Africans. So let us come together as one. Kenya, Tanzania, South Africa.
Let's go.
Malawi,
Nigeria,
Ghana. We are one.
Tunisia,
Nairobi, baby, I'll be down to send Africa. I love you, baby, and you know we want Africa. To Tanzania, now to Nigeria, Africa. That's how we do it. Yeah, we united in Africa.
ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Africa. Africa is time, ladies and gentlemen. Ha.
Mobekoro yakadele, mobekoro okowale. We are one.
It's Crispy the drama boy.
To the north
and the south,
we
are
one. We are one.
We are one.
We are one.
If we come together, let's make way to the world
together.
To be yours. And I know Nairobi, baby, I'll be down to send Africa. I love you, baby, and you know we want Africa.
Africa. This is Africa.
I remember Mandela. I remember Kwame Nkrumah. I remember Fela Kuti. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nnamdi Azikiwe.
Are you ready?
I remember Lucky Dube. I remember Brenda Fassie. Yeah, yeah. We are Africans. So let us come together as one. Kenya, Tanzania, South Africa.
Let's go.
Malawi,
Nigeria,
Ghana,
Tunisia,
Nairobi, Abidjan, Kusani. Oh, I love you, baby, and you know we want that. To Tanzania, now to Nigeria. Oh, that's how we do it. Yeah, we united in Africa.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Africa. Africa's time, ladies and gentlemen. Ha.
We are one.
It's Crispy the drama boy.
Jalanka, Jalanka. Yeah, yeah. Nani, oh my bad dog, bow. Kakoko maro. Emi feta yo, kakoko maro. Take your eyes up, bow. Kakoko maro. Yeah, no, that's okay. Kakoko maro. From the east to the west, to the north, and the south, We are one. We are one. We are one. We are one. If we come together, let's make way to the world. Together. To be and that's all. Nairobi, baby. I'll be down to San Oh, I love you, baby, and you know we want that. To Tanzania, now to Nigeria. Oh, that's how we do it. Yeah, we united in Africa.
This is Africa. This is Africa.
I remember Mandela. I remember Kwame Nkrumah. I remember Fela Kuti. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nnamdi Azikiwe.
Are you ready?
I remember Lucky Dube. I remember Brenda Fassie. Yeah, yeah. We are Africans. So let us come together as one. Kenya, Tanzania, South Africa.
Let's go.
Malawi,
Nigeria,
Ghana. We are one.
Tunisia,
Nairobi, baby. Abidjan, Kusani. Oh, I love you, baby, and you know we want that. To Tanzania, now to Nigeria. Oh, that's how we do it. Yeah, we united in Africa.
ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Africa. Africa's time, ladies and gentlemen. Ha.
We are one.
It's Crispy the drama boy.
Jalanka, Jalanka. Yeah, yeah. Nani, and the south.
And the south.
We are one.
We are one.
We are one.
We are one.
If we come together, let's make way to the world together. To be and that's Africa. Nairobi, baby. I'll be down to send Africa. I love you, baby. And you know we want Africa. To Tanzania, down to Nigeria, Africa. That's how we do it. Yeah, we united in Africa.
This is Africa. This is Africa.
I remember Mandela. I remember Kwame Nkrumah. I remember Fela Kuti. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nnamdi Azikiwe.
1, 2, are you ready?
I remember Lucky Dube. I remember Brenda Fassie. Yeah, yeah. We are Africans. So let us come together as one. Kenya, Tanzania, South Africa.
Let's go.
Malawi,
Nigeria,
Ghana. We are one.
Tunisia.
Nairobi, baby. I'll be down to send Africa. I love you, baby. And you know we want Africa. To Tanzania, down to Nigeria, Africa. That's how we do it. Yeah, we united in Africa.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Africa. Africa's time, ladies and gentlemen. Ha.
It's gonna take a lot to drag me away from you. There's nothing that 100 men or more could ever do. I bless the rains down in Africa. Gonna take some time to do the things we never had.
Run the tracker, and them off it, try hold me back, and me say wolf, and I go to every part to the top. Run the tracker, the rhythm is sweet, and it dance all hardcore, the people never want we fix that. Run the tracker, and we run the show, we say we run the shop.
Yeah, she.
I want to show them my attitude. We are party today. I want to show them my attitude. We are party today. I want to show them my attitude. We are party today. I want to show them my attitude. Nimekuja na hela ya mutaji we. Ya mutaji. Nipe pombe ninywe kama maji we. Kama maji. Ukiniacha nitapanda bajaji we. Bajaji. See, today, not today, nobody knows tomorrow. Oh, my beautiful lady, the way you shake your got me follow. Sokio za nambongo ibeleko. Eso maese ngote. Sokio kufile lo mbongo nyoso. Ozana ngo eko salama. Rumba, takata rumba. Tumba, tumba. Nipeza prakata tumba. Na yumba, yumba. Monegalewa na yumba. I say, we are party today. I want to show them my attitude. We are party today. I want to show them my attitude. We are party today. I want to show them my attitude. We are party today. I want to show them my attitude. Nimekuja na hela ya mutaji we. Ya mutaji. Nipe pombe ninywe kama maji we. Kama maji. Ukiniacha nitapanda bajaji we. Bajaji. So, yeah. Hivi upo singo ama shawahiwa, mwendo na mitindo kama Rosie Huntington, shavuni hizo dimples hazijaniacha salama. Mama ulivyo simple haujapaka tamaskara.
Nasema kivesi anata pimpo, ndefu yake shingo, chuno kama City ya Lincoln, macho yake kama ya chinko.
'Cause you're beautiful, mama. Bila kujua, ane, baada tuona, ane, uwe tufaa, ane, uwe tupenda, ane. 'Cause you're beautiful, mama. Bila kujua, ane, baada tuona, ane, uwe tufaa, ane, uwe tupenda, ane. I guess I'm in love. I'm in love with you. I guess I'm in love now. I'm in love with you. I guess I'm in love. I'm in love with you. I guess I'm in love. I'm in love with you.
Vicky Bandes.
Acha kubana, 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 oh. Acha kubana, bana, bana, oh. Too hurt to finally give you real love tonight. Too hurt to finally give you real love tonight. Too hard to finally give you real love tonight. Too hard to finally give you real love tonight. See, that's the one we don't want, no. It's just a good.
Tech team, great. Can everyone just take their seat, please? We're running late. Thank you. Right, I think that's it. We're going to kick off with an amazing presentation and interview. Alex will be joining us on the screen. So over to you guys.
It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be
Can everyone see me? Can anyone hear me? Hello? Ah, there we go. Right, hi there everyone. Great to be here, well, virtually with you. I am currently down in Cape Town. Great to be here today. My name is Alex Pryor. I head up Innovation and Ventures for EOH, which is one of Africa's largest IT companies. Beyond that, I do a lot of global speaking on emerging technology. I am one of the founding members of the World Metaverse Council, and I am a big proponent of innovation in Africa. One of the big things for me is that Africa really feels like the forgotten continent sometimes, doesn't it? We look around, we have the second largest continent, we have the second largest population globally. Curiously, we have the second largest cryptocurrency usage in the world. But for some reason, the rest of the world tends to forget we exist. If we look at venture capital, less than 1% of venture capital went to Africa last year. Less than 1% globally. That's crazy. However, this is not unique. This is something that has been going back for years, pretty much for as long as African innovation. In the tech space specifically, but really to chat around what we're doing that's different, what we've always done that's different. And to start off really, I thought I'd go back to have a little bit of a look at some of the things that as Africa we've done historically. So the Europeans like for us to forget this, but mathematics was born in Africa. The oldest known history of written mathematics is from 35,000 BC and comes from Africa. The oldest known carbon steel, yes, carbon steel, the same stuff that goes into your cars and in manufacturing, was first created in Africa in AD 100 in Tanzania. The first heart transplant, done in Africa. The first digital currency that was widely adopted, African. And yet, people forget about us. Seems kind of strange to me. So, what is innovation? Now, when I talk about innovation, I get a lot of answers about this. People love talking about uber disruptive innovation, but really what's Africa, we have what we call load shedding, which means we have rolling blackouts. Not uncommon across other areas in the continent, and quite frankly, not uncommon across other places, including the likes of the United States of America. But because of this, solar-powered energy has become a really big thing in South Africa. But not everyone can afford it. A lot of places that need it also can't afford it. And access at the same time, access to investment is something that's not really that available. Those solar panels are then put onto places of like hospitals, they're put onto schools, they're put onto places of safety. So the places that require power 24/7 are now actually able to get this power, but because of the people who are investing are paying for them, what you also have is the ability for people who previously would never have been able to develop generational wealth, to be able to have access for, it's as little as God help me phone someone. No, I don't like phoning people. So here's the thing that we found, certainly in some of the more underprivileged areas in South Africa. Apps take data, apps take power. Apps are expensive from that point of view. When people don't have enough airtime, they're not going to use an app that is going to be able to, that's going to take a lot of that airtime away. Which means that certainly here in South Africa, within the townships and the informal settlements, WhatsApp is king. And it's certainly something we see across the region, is that in areas where there's a limited infrastructure and where there's limited availability to things like data, WhatsApp is going to be king because it is cheap, it is a communication platform. But here's the thing, you can do some amazing technical things with WhatsApp. And in fact, I would say if you're working anywhere in Africa, if you're working with the sort of middle class and below, if you are not using WhatsApp, you are missing a trick, because you are going to be able to hit so many more people, be able to capture an audience of so many more people if you're using it. So back to my example, WhatsApp. A company here in South Africa called Fiverr built an app into WhatsApp. They built it into Instagram as well, but we're going to keep with WhatsApp. Basically, they built a takeout service into WhatsApp. We've got something called Mr. Delivery. It has a whole bunch of different restaurants. You may have used Uber Eats. Same concept, but in WhatsApp. And I was sitting in the middle of Khayelitsha Township at a business conference, and someone literally used WhatsApp to order pizza, and they paid in cryptocurrency. Now, that was the first time I'd actually seen a cryptocurrency transaction in South Africa for a retail transaction. You know, forget the big retailers, forget online transactions. The first time I saw cryptocurrency payment was about 2.5 years ago in the middle of a township in South Africa via WhatsApp. And that's just something that says, this is what we have. What can we do as a company to innovate, to be able to say, how can we provide a service to the people, but how can we also take what's out there and utilize it? So if you're not using WhatsApp, you're missing a trick, because they can do absolutely amazing things. And with the advent of AI, what you can now build into chatbots is absolutely mind-blowing. Next thing I want to talk about, also in African innovation, and talking here about communication. You're all in the advertising and marketing space. Communication is key. So what are you doing about communicating with people, say, who are deaf? A little bit trickier to get hold of them. Now, within wasn't Cameroon, but within the African context, someone came up with something called Sign.io, SIGN-IO, smart gloves. So that when you are, see if I can remember, can't remember my sign language. I should have checked it before this. But basically, if you're wearing the gloves, it connects to an app via Bluetooth and it automatically translates sign language. And that's just fantastic. That came out of Africa. That came out of a need for people who said that actually, you know what, we don't have people who learn. We don't have enough people who can be translators. How can we do something that's actually just going to be as simple as slipping on a pair of gloves? And while we're on that fact, and perhaps getting back to the WhatsApp example and AI, for the first time ever, the accessibility to language translation and the ability to translate language in a much more meaningful fashion is available to us. With the advent of the likes of ChatGPT, so what we call generational AI, or AI that can chat to you like a person, what a lot of people don't realize, especially if they are native English speakers, is that language translations can come built into that. You can build in literally to be able to say, an English conversation comes into me, I respond in English, but it is going to respond to you in Zulu or Swahili or French. It doesn't matter what language you speak. So we can have a one-to-one conversation in different languages, but understand each other in a way that we haven't been able to do before. And forget Google Translate. This is next level. And you need to be taking advantage of this if you're going to be able to reach the audience you need. And this again takes us back to that generational side of things. If you are not utilizing social media, I can see, because I get a feed of the room, a lot of people are having a look at their laptops or their iPhones or their cell phones taking notes, which is fantastic. But if you are not utilizing those tools, you're not going to hit your audience. You're not going to get the reach you need. I mean, we all talk about social media influencers, but ultimately, you have to understand that your audience is there. Your audience is using the technology. And I'm in my 40s, so I am, from a technological standpoint, I'm practically a dinosaur. But I need to understand how my kids are going to use technology if I want to be able to market to them, if I want to be able to sell to them. Hell, if I want to be able to talk to them, I need to understand where they're coming from. So as we move forward with looking at innovation, looking at Africa, my appeal to you is this. Firstly, as Africans, we are very prone to being very siloed and very isolated. We also tend to talk about the international things that are happening, but we forget to talk about ourselves. So my first port of call is saying, please spread the good stories. If you see something cool about a piece of innovation that's happening in Africa, post it on Instagram, post it on LinkedIn, because if the rest of the world doesn't know about us, how can they invest with us? How can they build with us? How can they come to us and go, you know what, Africa, you are leading the charge into the 5th Industrial Revolution? Because the fact of the matter is, we are. People just don't know about it. The next thing I would really say to you is keep an eye on emerging technology. Technology is changing faster now than it ever has in the past. It is changing at a rate that is unprecedented in history. And here's the interesting thing. Technology, and I hope you can see my hands, changes at an exponential rate, this curve. People change at a very flat rate. And eventually, the gap gets so big that there's going to be a disruption event. Excuse me. There we go, disruption event. But with that disruption event, that can actually mean your company goes out of business. That can mean that you're no longer competitive. That can mean as an individual, you've missed the boat and the young upstarts are going to surpass you in your industry of choice. So keep an eye on what's happening. You don't have to understand how AI works or how blockchain works or how augmented reality or virtual reality work to know that it's important to you. Find the smart people who know how they work. You don't need to know how an engine works to drive a car or to take an Uber to get somewhere. Why should you have to know how technology works to use it? The next is really to say, experiment. You've heard of this AI thing, how can we use it? Cool, experiment it. If it works, keep it. If it doesn't work, get rid of it, try something new. But also always bear in mind that with technology, it is not a panacea. It is not going to solve all of your problems. And that means that you need to have anything that come with you going, this is the best thing ever. It's probably not. take it with a grain of salt, and always, especially with these newer technologies, make sure that you are on the right side of regulation and legislation. A quick side note on AI, generative AI here. Much like a person, Gen AI is a very good bullshitter, so do not believe a word it tells you. Always check what it tells you to do. And then the last thing really is just to remember that from a generational standpoint, the young are coming. They are here already. They are your future customers. They are your future employees. They are your children. They are your siblings. They are maybe even your friends. But they are coming. And the status quo is not going to last, whether that's from a how we've always done process perspective, whether it is from a business perspective, whether it is from a technology perspective. The world is changing. And if you're not willing to change with it, you're going to be left behind. It's been such a pleasure to talk to you today. I wish I was there in person to chat to you in person, but I really thank you so much for having me. And I hope that I've made you think just a little bit about the fact that Africa is the place to be in terms of doing new things and in terms of adopting new technology. And I think the world is going to be very surprised over the coming decade at how much we have to offer. Thank you, everybody.
So many times now, I was supposed to tap out. All the walls would fall down around me, or anybody would tap.
Jour de fête.
C'est quoi? Et vous savez?
Ibrahim Sama Diabaté.
Ça joue les fêtes sur la démarche. Youpi, youpi, youpi,
Can you please stand up? We want to see you dance the victory anthem. Thank you. So I'm Sevin Barrow. I'm the CEO of Dentsu for the Francophone countries. I'm here with my beautiful people. Fanta is in charge of the creation.